one of the ways that you can test for an IOI is if you get up and say you're like, hey, let's go to the bar and get a drink, and you grab her hand and you take her to the bar. Squeeze her hand. If she squeezes your hand back, that's an IOI. If she doesn't squeeze your hand back, you're like this. If she doesn't squeeze back, then you have a little more work to do. It doesn't mean that she doesn't like you or anything like that. It just means that you need to build a little more attraction. That's it. What's up, guys? Dale Valor here for Modern Valor Dating. Today, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite topics. I can't believe that we haven't addressed it yet. We're going to be talking about IOIs, indicators of interest, what it means, what it looks like, how to watch out for them. We're going to get into that right now. Let's go. Tip number one, why to look for indicators of interest. Here's the thing. Many guys, they don't know how to pick up on when a woman flirts with them. You hear it all the time, right? A lot of guys, they almost need a girl to jump right in their lap and start making out with them to even grasp that the girl is into them. So what we're going to look for is communication that is nonverbal. All right. And the reason to look for that is, look, I'm a big advocate of not chasing and not looking desperate. And I would suggest that you do the same. So I'm looking for all the indicators of interest that she's throwing out before I reciprocate and start flirting with her. Right. So the thing is that there's a bee flying around the camera. Joe's trying not to get stung right now. So leave it. Leave that in. Leave all this in.
Okay. Go see your ass. Kill it. Kill it.
Oh, no.
It's gone. Where'd it go?
I think it's gone.
I was like, nah. Okay.
Anyway, so the thing is that I'm not trying to chase. So I want to see her flirt with me before I reciprocate that. So that's why you want to look for indicators of interest. Now we're going to hop into the next tip and break down what some of those are. So let's get into tip number 2. Let's go.
Tip number 2. Okay, here is a list of IOIs that are nonverbal communication that you're going to want to look out for, all right? Now, there's a bunch of them. I'll touch on some of the main ones. If you have more questions or want to know more of them or something like that, drop a comment and I'll break it down for you. You have my word on that, all right? So here's a short list of some IOIs. Her playing with her hair. Okay, that's one. What they call anime eyes, you know, all like, wow, like just, how can you put it? She's just astounded by your presence. All right. She's just looking at you just like, I cannot believe what is happening right now. All right. That's a huge IOI. Another IOI is extended eye contact. Another IOI is her being very compliant with you with things that you're throwing out, asking her to do. Okay, that's another good one. And those are huge. Another one would be if you stop talking, okay, you're in the middle of a conversation and you stop talking and she picks up the conversation after kind of an awkward moment. She wants to bring back all those good feelings that she was experiencing. And so she starts up saying something like, so, anyway, you know, she's trying to bring the conversation back. All right. That's another good IOI. Another one is she wants to introduce you to her friends. That's another good IOI. Another one is, Kino is that's pretty clear. You know, I don't even know if that needs to be said, but I said it anyway. Kino escalation or reciprocation of Kino. Another one is this is one of my favorites, by the way. If you make a bad joke that you know that it's not funny, it's just a dumb, stupid joke.
starts cracking up laughing at your stupid joke that you know isn't funny, she just wants to be on your tip. She just wants you to take notice and pay attention that she likes you. And she wants your attention. That's all that is. I highly doubt she actually thinks it's funny. She just wants you to think that she thinks that you're funny. All right. So that's another good one. So those should be enough for things to look out for. There's many more. And again, if you want to know more, you can drop in the comments and I'll break it down for you. All right. So we're going to get into tip number 3. Let's go.
Tip number 3, IOI tests. Every once in a while, you'll run into a girl that is just kind of hard to read. Maybe she's intimidated by you. Maybe she's just very shy. She might really be into you, but she doesn't show it. There's some ways that you can do a IOI test to get some of those IOIs. Now, keep this in mind. I look for 3 IOIs before I start showing intent from me, right? So one of the ways that you can test for an IOI is if you get up and say you're like, hey, let's go to the bar and get a drink. And you grab her hand and you take her to the bar. Squeeze her hand. If she squeezes your hand back, that's an IOI. If she doesn't squeeze your hand back, you're like this. If she doesn't squeeze back, then you have a little more work to do. It doesn't mean that she doesn't like you or anything like that. It just means that you need to build a little more attraction. That's it. All right. Another IOI test is this. I will have them stand up and I will have them put their hands out like this. All right. So they got their hands out. I'll put my hands on top and I'll raise my hands. And if she reciprocates and follows and raises her hands to mine, that's an IOI. If she stands there looking at you like, what am I supposed to do now? Then you have a little more work to do. All right. So that's another IOI test. One of my absolute favorite IOI tests is this. If a girl's hair is down, right? She's wearing it down. What I'll say is something to the effect of like, your hair looks really nice. It looks really good. But I think it would look excellent. I think it would be top notch if you wore your hair up. And if she goes ahead and puts her hair up into a bun or, puts a hair tie or a hair clip or something like that, then I know she's into me. All right. That's an IOI test. Conversely, if her hair is up and you say, I really like your hair up. Your hair looks really good, but I really think it would look great if you wore it down. And she undoes it. Boom, IOI. All right, so that's a few IOI tests that you can do, and so make sure you look for those. It's very important. It kind of helps you have a gauge on how much interest there is from her to you. Okay, so that's it. The top 3 tips on IOIs. If you got value out of this video, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Share it with somebody that you know needs to hear it. All right? And I'd love to hear from you too. Make sure if you want us to kick it with you or whatever, or help give you some advice or something like that, drop a comment and we will definitely be in touch with you, okay? I'm Dale Valor from Modern Valor Dating. We'll see you next time. Salute.